Welcome to Life Hacks Beyond Convention with Dee and Sonia. And Lismore, I had a friend that was homeless from the last Lismore thing and had kids that were homeless, and so that
Oh,
worried.
the whole thing in Lismore, I just think, oh my goodness, yeah, after the last one, they were having problems even just getting staff back into emergency departments and things in the hospital. Yeah, she actually did a stint in Lismore
Yeah,
because I was just finding it so hard to staff
yeah.
the surgical ward, actually. Yeah,
Mm.
so you just think, oh, and the devastation
Yes,
that
yeah.
we went through. We can't imagine
That
really
was,
like to go through a major flood like that.
no, it just left me speechless, and seeing friends that were just, um, worried about their kids who were having to couch surf just to try and get a job or keep a job. And yeah, um, I don't know what the answer is. And then with COVID also impacting on housing, it's a huge issue.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, that's it, isn't it? Because we're going to have all these houses that aren't habitable and we're already low on accommodation.
yeah, that,
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
yeah,
I,
yeah. And I remember, I don't know, somebody on YouTube was going up, like at the Lismore one, they were
mm,
going up and just helping people to try and shovel out silt and things out of
yeah,
their houses and whatnot to try and make their houses
yeah,
habitable again. You just
mm,
think, well, and they were finding it hard to get enough volunteers to help. Now, this is just so much more widespread.
yes.
Maybe by being more widespread, there's more focus on it and there'll be more people from other states come in, perhaps. We
Hopefully,
can
yeah,
only hope, can't we? Because
yeah.
it's just going to be devastating.
But just the logistics of bringing more people in to help.
Yeah, where do they stay?
Where do they stay? Where do they eat? How are
Mm.
they getting around? Yeah, so it sort of compounds it in one sense,
Mm.
but they're
And I mean,
still
right
needed.
up to the Sunshine Coast, like all the way from the Sunshine Coast right down to Sydney. Like
Yes.
that's a
Mm.
huge area.
It's massive. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah.
So, and we complain about dust storms and heat.
Yeah, that's right. I
Yeah.
know. I was thinking that over the weekend. I was just thinking, oh, Sonia, like you're feeling hot and lethargic, but man, you're lucky you're not going through a
You're not.
potential cyclone and then the aftermath. Well, I think from what I could gather, the cyclone itself was less problematic than the actual aftermath of just the amount of rain.
Yeah, and I think that's often the case. People like I can't fathom a 1,000 mil or 800 mil of rain.
No,
I mean,
I can't
that's
either.
double what our annual amount should be.
Yeah,
And they've had it in like so many hours or something.
yeah,
I mean, yeah,
unbelievable.
we'd be floating away because, yeah, the dirt
Well,
would just be,
some of their rivers were going up to like 10 and 12 meters.
yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. And then the other thing was seeing the people, the surfers. I kind of get it and I don't get it. Because
Yeah,
I was pretty wild as a child. So if I'd been a surfer, I'd have been out there. And as for the mudslides, oh, they should make that a permanent fixture. I want to go on that. I don't care that I'm old and fat. Um,
it'd be fun.
those mudslides look like a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
there was a windsurfer out there, and they were really scathing of him because he was just. I said, if he comes off, or yeah, no one's going out there to rescue him because they can't because it's too dangerous for them. So yeah, where do you
And the
temper
whole
that?
extreme sport thing is an interesting debate, isn't it?
Mm,
Because I can understand from the point of view of the person wanting to participate. I not completely understand because that's not part of my personality. I really don't like really high things. I don't like really fast things. I'm just not an extreme sport person. However, I do understand the excitement that comes from doing new things. And so
yeah,
I imagine that that's what it's like for extreme
yeah,
sports people, just that excitement. And the if something happens to them, the cost to the community to go and rescue them.
yes,
And I can understand both sides of the argument, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Like we do have a right to go out and do what we want to
Mm,
do and to
yeah,
live life to the fullest, but there usually is a cost to the community
yeah,
as a result of that. Yeah.
yeah.
If
And
there's,
yeah,
yeah.
we let people go up on Everest, don't we?
Mm,
And a lot of them die. So
mm.
yeah, it's a hard one. And I think there were some
But then
studies.
rescuers die too.
Yes, yeah. Oh, often they no, they there's a bit of a rule, I think, from my understanding, that basically if you stop on the way up or you stop on the way down, that's it. Just park yourself because
Mount Everest, you're talking about
yeah,
specifically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't know much about it
No,
really.
I think there's a bit of a rule where if someone's sat down and not moving, then they've made their choice, sort of thing. It wouldn't always be honoured in that way. But I think if you're going up there, you've got to recognise if you can't do it, then you need to, yeah, either turn around
There
straight
is a
and head back.
difference, isn't there, between the community rallying and helping, like the fast torrents that we, oh, well, like I saw a news flash last night, I think it was. I saw it come through that apparently this, look, I can't remember exactly where it was, somewhere up in where they're getting the flooding now. And I think it was a couple of women came round in four-wheel drive, but they didn't know, signs hadn't gone out yet. So they didn't actually know that they were heading round the bend into literally into floodwater.
Yep.
And they were nearby to a business who saw it happen. So
Mm.
they were able to get out there and actually help them get
Help
out of
them.
the car. They said it was really scary though, because if they'd
Mm.
kept going, there was going to be a 6 metre gully that they would have been going over into.
Oh, wow.
And the lady who was in the car, she'd just frozen.
Oh,
And it
yes.
was like, and so trying to get the windows down or a door open to try and get her and whoever the passenger was out.
You've gone into
And
that shutdown fright.
yeah, and so you just see, but such a difference between that, like, and he was really clear. It's like she would have had no idea. It's not like she
Mm.
deliberately went into a flood zone.
No.
The
Yeah.
signage just wasn't out yet, and she would have had no idea, and you couldn't see it from where she came from.
Yeah. Well, perhaps the lesson
But you
in
put
this
your
is,
life at risk to go and help them. But that's so different to somebody that's deliberately choosing
yeah,
an extreme experience.
yes.
And so, yeah, there's yeah, I can understand the controversy that
Mm.
brings. I'm not sure
Yeah.
whether I agree with the controversy, but I can understand it.
I think the lesson with people who are still traveling in cars and possibly going into water is that the services out there don't have time to put the signs up because there was another couple that did it with their dog and he just said, oh, well, there were no signs. When do you think they were going to get to do that when they're doing 50 million other things? There's not a recognition of the volume of tasks that need to be completed and the volume of roads and crossings. So they keep saying if there's water across the road, don't go through it. So
Yeah, well, that's
mm,
right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's a bit frustrating from both sides. Yeah.
Mm,
But I was going to say earlier, there's not a disorder because it's not that. There's a brain thing where some people don't have fear when they do really, really extreme sports. Those sorts of people sometimes don't have fear over certain things.
mm.
And I know that they were doing some studies through there, but um, yeah, yeah, I don't know what
Mm.
they came up with.
It's hard to comprehend, isn't it?
Yes and no,
Mm.
because
Because you're a little bit on that spectrum.
I'm the other end from you, yes, or was certainly when I was younger. So when I
Yeah.
jumped out of a plane, I had wanted to for a long time, and I was
Oh
not
gosh, I just
scared.
can't think of anything worse.
Yeah, I wanted to for so long. I don't have any desire to do it again.
Yep.
The interesting thing is I wouldn't bungee jump.
Yeah, okay.
I'll jump out of a plane like tandem, of course, and loved it, but I wouldn't bungee jump because I don't trust the cord.
Mm, mm,
Whereas I trusted the parachute trainer. So
mm,
yeah.
mm.
Mm.
Well, I don't have a desire to jump out of a plane. I'm really not very fond of flying in planes, to be honest. I
Okay.
do it. But the first time I did it, I was stiff the next day because I was so
From
tense.
tension.
Yeah.
And yet, once again, I love it.
Oh, so even now, I've actually got to psych myself up into getting on a plane.
Okay.
And throughout the trip, I've actually got to practice relaxation
Oh,
techniques.
okay.
Otherwise, I get tense.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate being up there.
My
It's
mother
like,
hated heights.
yep,
I was a climber from a very young age.
yep,
I couldn't even walk properly, and I climbed a 6 foot tank stand
yep,
and
yep.
freaked her out. But we would go to Belair National Park, and Dad would be playing tennis with his friends and stuff. And Mum would be sitting around drinking wine, and someone would say, Kay, have you seen where Dorothy is? And she'd say, just tell me when she's on the ground. So heights, horses, cars, motorbike. Yeah. Yeah, I was.
I like motorbikes.
Yep.
That one I like. I do
Mm,
enjoy them. However, I really am a grandma when it comes to riding a motorbike.
yeah.
Like I just putter around, but I do enjoy it. I like the feeling of
Yep.
the freedom in my face.
Oh, yeah.
And when I got the opportunity to get on a motorbike a few years ago, got bikes, and she came around with one, and I thought, can I do this? Because I hadn't been on a motorbike for a really long time, and I'm much less agile than I was when I used to get on them.
Yep.
But it was like, oh yeah, it was, they say, what do they say? It's just like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Well, it really was just like riding a bike.
Mm,
Um, I still had balance and whatnot,
yeah.
but it was like, pop, 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 not zoom.
Motherhood changes you so much, doesn't it? The moment I knew I was pregnant, my whole brain just like, it was probably before I knew too, but I wasn't aware of it properly. Just wow, because you've got other people, someone that's really dependent on you that you have to look after. It changed me so much. And now my brain is going back to I want to do all this stuff. My body won't comply. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you really are rewired to care
yeah.
for, like
Yeah, it's
nature
a pretty
really.
beautiful experience that a woman goes through when she gets pregnant, isn't it?
Yeah. Hit the subscribe button below if you want to follow life hacks beyond convention.